He's the director of the Center on Peace and Liberty at the Independent Institute think tank, and he joins us now from Washington, D.C. Thank you so much for joining us here on TRT World. A lot of the media outlets in the United States and around the world have described these elections as crucial. How crucial are they in your view?
Well, I think given the aftermath of the 2020 elections, they're crucial in the sense that the U.S. needs to reestablish credibility in its election system. And I don't mean that there's anything wrong with the election system. What I mean is there's a lot of people that are going around and saying, there were fraud, and they're already gearing up to litigate it when they haven't even seen what the election is going to be. So, and that's mainly on the Republican side. So I think that's actually the major issue of the campaign. Well, I shouldn't say campaign. It's a major importance in the election. The campaign has gone more to economic issues, as your lead-in pointed out. But the real important thing is the election system, and the United States has to reestablish, elections that people have confidence in. And there's no reason that they shouldn't have confidence in. Voter fraud in the United States is minuscule, but there's been all these lies told by Donald Trump and others that have muddied the waters here.
Yes, and much has been made about the Democrats' razor-thin majority at stake here. We know their majority in the Congress is a little better at about 8 seats, but in the Senate they only hold the casting vote. What's your prediction? Do you believe that the Democrats will be able to hold control of both houses, one of the houses? What outcome might we see?
Well, despite the smaller margin in the Senate, the Democrats, I think, are probably more likely to come out of that, at least adequately. In other words, either holding it at 50-50 because the vice president, who's Democrat, breaks ties, or just losing one seat or so. You never know what's in the election, but the House is probably going to go Republican, even though there's an 8-seat difference now. They're just the way things are with gerrymandering and other issues, which is just drawing up boundaries of congressional districts. You'll probably see the Republicans get that, but you never know. In 1998, everyone thought the Republicans were going to score big, and they didn't. The Democrats did. So, and the polls in the states, and these are all state polling, tend to be more inaccurate than a national poll in a presidential election. So anything can happen. Right now, I'd probably give the edge to the Republicans.
Let's look ahead to when the polls close and the votes get counted, because obviously that is going to be a heavily scrutinized process. And we know that in the wake of the 2020 election, it was some time before Donald Trump actually conceded to the current president, Joe Biden. But in fact, he still claims that that election was stolen from him. Are you expecting similar scenes after the midterm polls close?
Well, there may be. As I say, some of these committees of Republicans are organizing to challenge the election, and they don't even know how close it is. So, the problem is conspiracy theories have multiplied in the Republican Party to where if the Democrats win, Republicans think they cheat. And as I mentioned, has been very little in the modern era, very little election fraud. And there are safeguards against that at many levels. And also in the states, we have the reason it takes so long to count the votes here is because we have a decentralized election system. The individual states run the elections instead of the federal government. And that's the way it should be. And it's actually a defense against widespread national fraud in an election. But the downside is you have to take longer, and that's not good. In Brazil, they just had an election. One of the reasons they were anticipating, they had the same problem with the supporters of Bolsonaro as we do here with the Republican Party. But their elections were fast. They got it out, and they have electronic voting everywhere. And getting it out leads less time for suspicion to build. And but here we probably need to improve the speed of our elections, but that's difficult because they are so decentralized. So there's plus and minuses to having such decentralized elections.
And of course, we will be keeping a close eye on these elections as they unfold. Ivan Eland from the Independent Institute. Always appreciate your analysis. Thank you.
Thank you very much.